Since the dawn of human civilization, dreams have haunted and inspirited us. They visit us in the stillness of night, blurring the lines between the visible and the unseen, between what we know and what we only feel. Across cultures and ages, people have looked to their dreams for meaning, messages, and even warnings. The ancients saw them as whispers from gods, windows to the divine, or journeys of the soul into hidden realms. Modern science, on the other hand, calls them neurological patterns, random firings of a resting brain. Yet, even in laboratories glowing with EEG lights, the question remains unsettled. Are dreams nothing but electrical storms in the cortex? Are they secret messages from the soul? Glimmers of another reality that reason cannot measure? To explore this question fully, we must walk a bridge. One built from both spiritual revelation and modern psychology, where the Quran meets the MRI scanner and the teachings of the Prophet stand beside the theories of modern psychologists and sleep analysts. In the Quran, Allah declares, Allah takes the souls at the time of their death, and those that do not die, He takes during their sleep. Then He keeps those for which He has decreed death and releases the others until an appointed time. Surah Az-Zumar 39:42. This verse offers a profound metaphysical view of sleep and dreaming. That sleep is a temporary death, and in it, the soul partially departs from the body, entering a different plane of existence known in Islamic philosophy as Alam al-Arwah, the realm of souls. Here lies the foundation for the Islamic understanding of dreams, that they are not mere products of the body, but experiences of the soul, glimpses into another layer of creation. The Prophet Muhammad placed great emphasis on dreams. He said, "True dreams are 1/46th part of prophethood." Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Before revelation came to him, the first 6 months of his prophethood were filled with true dreams that came to pass exactly as he saw them. In this, dreams served as the threshold between the unseen, al-Ghaib, and the revealed world. In various hadith collections, the Prophet explained that dreams are of 3 types. The first is the ruya salihah, the righteous or true dream, a vision that comes from Allah, bringing glad tidings, guidance, or insight. The second is the dream from shaitan, meant to confuse, terrify, or cause distress. The third is the dream from the nafs, the self, shaped by daily worries, thoughts, and personal experiences. This tripartite classification beautifully mirrors what we now recognize in modern psychology as the spiritual, the emotional, and the cognitive dimensions of dreaming. True dreams, or ruya salihah, are considered a continuation of divine communication in the post-prophetic world. Many companions of the Prophet narrated that after his death, true dreams remained as one of the only channels through which believers could receive hints or guidance from the unseen. The Prophet once said, "When the time draws near to the end, a believer's dream will hardly ever lie. The truest dream will be of the one who is truest in speech." This suggests that purity of heart, sincerity, and truthfulness in life refine the soul's capacity to perceive truthful visions. In essence, the cleaner the mirror of the heart, the clearer the reflection of divine truth. The Quran itself recounts several stories where dreams carry divine significance. The most famous is that of Prophet Yusuf, Joseph alayhi salam, whose entire life was shaped by dreams. As a boy, he dreamed of 11 stars, the sun and the moon bowing before him, a vision that would later come true when his family reunited in Egypt. Later, Yusuf interpreted the dreams of his prison companions and of the Egyptian king, dreams that foretold years of abundance followed by famine. This story is not just a moral tale, but a testimony to the Quranic recognition of dreams as meaningful communications from beyond ordinary perception. Similarly, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam saw in a dream that he was commanded to sacrifice his son, an act later revealed to be a divine test. These examples confirm that within Islamic cosmology, dreams are not random, but purposeful, carrying moral and spiritual weight. But Islam also draws a clear line between true dreams and deceptive ones. A person who sees frightening or disturbing images is advised to seek refuge in Allah, spit lightly to the left 3 times, and not share the dream with anyone. This aligns with a deep psychological insight that negative dreams or nightmares can gain more power when verbalized or dwelled upon. By discouraging their discussion, Islam essentially teaches emotional detachment and cognitive reappraisal, techniques now found in cognitive behavioral therapy for nightmares. Similarly, the advice to perform wudu, change sides, and recite Ayat al-Kursi or Surah al-Falaq aligns with what psychologists might call grounding techniques, methods to reorient the mind towards safety and calm after distress. If we move from the spiritual to the scientific, the dream world appears under a different light, one not of divine illumination, but of neurochemical activity. Modern neuroscience tells us that dreams primarily occur during REM, rapid eye movement, sleep, a stage marked by vivid brain activity, irregular breathing, and temporary paralysis of the body. Here, the brain's limbic system, the emotional center, becomes highly active, while the prefrontal cortex, responsible for logic and reasoning, becomes subdued. The result is an emotional but illogical narrative, a dream. The activation synthesis theory, proposed by Alan Hobson and Robert McCarley in 1977, suggests that dreams are the brain's attempt to make sense of random neural firings during sleep. According to this model, the dream is essentially the cortex weaving a story to interpret internal chaos, a byproduct of the brain maintaining itself rather than a meaningful message.
However, this explanation, while elegant, leaves something unresolved. If dreams are random, why do they sometimes predict future events, carry consistent symbolic messages, or reflect emotional truths that the dreamer ignores while awake? Neuroscience acknowledges these anomalies but cannot yet fully explain them. Recent studies show that during sleep, especially REM, the brain consolidates memory, processes emotions, and integrates new experiences into long-term knowledge. Thus, dreams may represent the mind's way of emotionally digesting reality, a nocturnal therapy session in which the subconscious rearranges fragments of waking life into symbolic dramas. In this sense, the Islamic concept of nafs-based dreams aligns closely with what modern science calls cognitive or emotional processing. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, was the first to systematically explore the hidden meanings of dreams. In his 1899 work, The Interpretation of Dreams, Freud proposed that dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. For him, every dream was a wish disguised, the fulfillment of desires that the conscious mind represses. A man who dreams of climbing a mountain may, in Freudian language, be expressing ambition, sexual desire, or guilt. While Freud's focus on sexuality drew criticism, his central idea, that dreams encode the language of the unconscious, remains foundational in psychology. Dreams, in his view, were not divine revelations but psychological puzzles, distorted expressions of what we dare not admit by day. Carl Jung, Freud's student and later critic, took a more spiritual turn. Jung saw dreams not as repressed desires, but as messages from the collective unconscious, a universal psychic reservoir containing the archetypes of humanity: the hero, the shadow, the wise old man, the mother, and more. In Jungian thought, dreams are symbolic narratives guiding the individual toward wholeness, the process he called individuation. They are, in his words, the small hidden door in the deepest and most intimate sanctum of the soul. Here, the overlap with Islamic thought is striking. Just as Islam teaches that a purified heart perceives truthful dreams, Jung suggested that an integrated psyche receives clearer guidance from its deeper self. In both, the dream is a mirror reflecting one's moral and spiritual state. From a neuroscientific lens, the patterns of dreaming reveal the extraordinary interplay between memory, imagination, and emotion. Brain imaging shows that during REM sleep, the amygdala, responsible for emotions like fear and desire, is highly active, while the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational judgment, is quiet. This explains why dreams feel emotionally intense yet logically impossible. Furthermore, during sleep, the hippocampus replays recent experiences, allowing the brain to transfer short-term memories into long-term storage, a process called memory consolidation. When emotional memories are replayed, the brain sometimes reinterprets or dramatizes them, producing symbolic imagery. For example, dreaming of drowning when one feels overwhelmed in life. Some neuroscientists, however, have begun to acknowledge that dreams may serve more than memory consolidation. Matthew Walker, a leading sleep researcher, suggests that dreams act as nocturnal therapy, helping the brain process painful emotions by re-experiencing them in a safe environment without the full stress response. In this sense, dreams are both healing and revealing, a natural mechanism of psychological balance. This interpretation resonates deeply with spiritual teachings. Islam regards the soul as capable of perceiving truth during sleep precisely because it is freed from the noise of the body and the constraints of logic. In the stillness of night, the heart becomes a mirror to hidden realities. If we place the two perspectives side by side, they seem at first contradictory. Islam speaks of the soul's journey beyond the body, while neuroscience speaks of neurons firing within it. Yet, perhaps they describe different sides of the same coin. The physical brain may be the instrument through which the immaterial soul expresses itself. Just as a musician needs an instrument to play a melody, the soul may use the brain's electrical circuits to translate its experiences into the language of imagery and emotion. When the body sleeps, the brain shifts to a receptive mode, allowing the soul's perceptions, or what Jung might call archetypal messages, to emerge as dreams. What science calls random activation may simply be the physiological reflection of a metaphysical process we do not yet understand. Islamic scholars like Imam al-Ghazali discussed this centuries ago. In his Ihya Ulum al-Din, al-Ghazali describes dreams as a bridge between the material and the immaterial world. He wrote that during sleep, the senses are suspended, and the heart becomes illuminated by forms from the unseen. These forms, though real, appear symbolically when translated by the imagination. Thus, a dream is both spiritual and symbolic. Its outer form shaped by the individual's experiences, but its inner meaning drawn from a higher realm. Al-Ghazali compared the heart to a mirror. When polished by remembrance, dhikr, and purity, it reflects divine realities. When clouded by sin or heedlessness, it reflects only confusion. This aligns perfectly with both Jung's and modern psychology's emphasis on inner harmony and self-awareness as the keys to meaningful dreams. The Prophet himself demonstrated the importance of discernment in dreams. He encouraged believers to share good dreams only with those who wish them well, echoing the psychological principle that our interpretations can influence emotional outcomes. Just as therapists caution against overanalyzing or catastrophizing nightmares, the Prophet taught to disregard bad dreams and seek refuge in Allah. Interestingly, even the early Muslim scholars anticipated the dangers of obsession with dream interpretation. Ibn Sirin, the famous interpreter of dreams, warned that dreams should be understood with humility, that not every dream carries divine meaning, and not every interpreter has the insight to unveil it. In this wisdom lies a timeless balance between spirituality and psychology, the recognition that the mind and the soul both speak through dreams, but not every whisper is revelation. When we look across history, the human need to find meaning in dreams remains constant. Pharaoh's dream of 7 fat and 7 lean cows in the time of Yusuf mirrored the Greek oracles, the biblical visions of Daniel, and the pre-Islamic Arabs' faith in nocturnal omens. What differs is not the experience, but the framework of interpretation. The Quran redirected this ancient impulse away from superstition toward divine guidance, making dreams a personal, moral, and spiritual compass rather than a tool of fatalism. Today, modern psychology continues the same quest in different language. It seeks to decode the messages of the unconscious, to translate the language of symbols into self-knowledge. In this shared search, religion and science stand not as enemies, but as complementary explorers of the same mystery. In the age of neuroscience, it is easy to dismiss dreams as chemical illusions. Yet even the most materialist scientist must admit that dreams reveal truths inaccessible to waking logic. They expose desires we hide, fears we deny, and intuitions we cannot explain. A person may dream of a loved one's distress before receiving news of their illness. Another may solve a complex problem through a dream insight. Such phenomena challenge the reductionist view. If dreams were mere random noise, how could they sometimes reveal knowledge unknown to the conscious mind? Modern theories of quantum consciousness and non-local awareness, though speculative, hint at the possibility that consciousness extends beyond the brain. In that light, the Quranic vision of the soul journeying during sleep appears not mystical but profoundly compatible with emerging scientific thought. Perhaps the truest understanding of dreams lies in synthesis. From the Islamic view, dreams can be divine, demonic, or self-generated, each reflecting a different origin of consciousness. From the psychological view, they are symbolic messages from the unconscious, tools for emotional and cognitive integration. From the neuroscientific view, they are mechanisms of memory and emotion regulation. When combined, these perspectives create a holistic map of the human being, one who is both soul and body, spirit and neuron. The dream is where these two realities meet, where the divine light refracts through the prism of the brain into images, emotions, and stories. In the end, to dream is to remember that we are more than matter. When we close our eyes, our consciousness does not vanish. It travels. Whether one interprets that journey as the firing of neurons or the flight of the soul, the mystery remains. In dreams, we encounter truths that daylight cannot hold. The prophet once said that toward the end of time, the dreams of believers will become truer, as if the veil between the worlds grows thinner. Science may call this intuition, psychology may call it integration, but faith calls it awakening. Between sleep and wakefulness, between neuron and soul, lies the oldest question of humanity, and perhaps its most beautiful one. Are we dreaming within the world, or is the world itself a dream from which the soul one day will awake?